What up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Chinnist. Today is June 26th, Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. I have my haul here of 19 total. I threw up my Midtown order on the left-hand side as well. I have read through this stack. Starting off on the DC side, I only have one this week. I don't think I've ever only had one DC like ever, but yep. The Flash, issue number 73. So this is part 4 of year 1 that Williamson is taking us through. You know, in my opinion, I feel that this has been pretty good, pretty true to the Flash. I think I've seen a couple online, a couple YouTube videos to where people are not really digging this year 1 retelling, but in my opinion, I think this is great. Good artwork, great dialogue, and a great retelling, in my opinion. So yeah, the Flash is kind of dealing with the Turtle, and Turtle kind of goes through his own origin story here as well. Man, pretty cool guy. I guess I never really knew too much about the Turtle, but he had a pretty cool origin story in my opinion. You know, kind of tragic, very sad, but yeah, the Flash, year 1, pretty good stuff in my opinion. Issue number 73. Moving on to Marvel, War of the Realms. So this week kind of concluded all these storylines here. So this is the Avengers crossover tie-in. Issue number 20. This one really focused 95% around She-Hulk. A little bit more of her psyche, who she used to be. It kind of went through her origin story as well, and, you know, her complaints of why she feels she's more superior now than how she was before in the past, where she had, you know, more of an intellect as she was She-Hulk. But again, not too much tie into the War of the Realms at all, in my opinion. This is really all about She-Hulk. So yep, for you She-Hulk lovers, man, this is a pretty good issue for y'all. Avengers number 20. War of the Realms, New Agents of Atlas. This title is pretty much my most favorite spin-off that they've done. I think my second was probably Giant Man. But yeah, New Agents of Atlas, I definitely will be subscribing to this new team. You know, I'm half Chinese. You know, I will say that. I may be a little bit biased, you know, towards this Asian team they kind of put together. But man, I really felt the new characters they kind of introduced here, Wave, Luna Snow era. I thought, man, they were all pretty, very dynamic in their personalities as well as their powers. You know, I like how that kind of all came together as a team from the very get-go. And you kind of learned that, what was his name, Jimmy Woo, the field agent who kind of put this team together, you kind of find out a little bit more history, and he kind of did some things in the background to manipulate the team. So, you know, a little bit different dynamic there, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to the standalone title that comes out, I believe, next month. So, yep, New Agents of Atlas. Uncanny XMen, yet another spin-off, War of the Realms. This was, you know, of the ones I read, this is probably the most minor, you know, nothing really, not too much tie-in to the storyline overall. Action-packed, you know, for issues 1 through 3 all the way through, in my opinion. However, did not really lend itself too much to the overall storyline, in my opinion. So yep, if you are X-Men lover, you know, I'd say go ahead and pick it up. It's a pretty good action, you know, story. A little bit more with, what was her name, was it Moonstone, who has become a Valkyrie. So a little bit more of the tie-in with Asgard Valkyrie side of things, but I'll leave it here on this 2-page splash. Great action all the way through, and, you know, pretty good battle that ensues here at the end of the title. But yep, War of the Realms, Uncanny X-Men number 3 of 3. Thor, issue number 14, yet another War of the Realms tie-in. Very important to the overall storyline, in my opinion. But once again, kind of like the God Butcher, Jason Aaron story that happened years back, they went back and they got 3 different generations, or I guess you'll see a little bit more of a reveal, but there's like 4 generations of Thor, or 4 different reiterations of Thor that kind of came together, banded together in order to fight this or try to end the War of the Realms. Very cool stuff, you know. There's a little bit more that Jane Foster kind of comes back through, and y'all may have seen that she's going to be like the new Valkyrie kind of going forward. Bam, a little bit of a splash just as I'm talking about it. But yeah, man, this was a great battle to kind of finish it off, in my opinion. I think some people felt that it ended abruptly. I didn't have that sense of feeling there, you know. I didn't really sense that at all. I thought this was a good storyline all the way through. This Malakath final epic battle here, man, I thought was very satisfying overall. Thor goes through a character change here at the end. And won't spoil it, but there's a new title coming out with this character change that he went through. But yep, Thor issue number 14, and I'm sorry, I kind of spoke a little bit too early on that one. So it kind of started the Thor change here, but it actually happened here. This is War of the Realms, issue number 6 of 6. This finishes off this, this summer epic tie-in that they had here. But again, as I was saying, this kind of explains how he lost his eye and the powers that he got from sacrificing his eye, and how he kind of finishes off the battle here. And, I'll just kind of leave it on this 2-page splash. But as I said, the Thor does go through a character change, and he's coming out with a brand new title. And Jane Foster, you see her here as Thor just one more time, again, kind of becomes Valkyrie at the very end of this one. Don't give away too much because there's so many damn ads kind of, explaining that. But yep, War of the Realms, in my opinion, was very satisfying. I feel if you read all the various tie-ins that kind of went along with it, it lent more to the action itself, to where I think people who did not read all the various tie-ins felt that this was too short, and I think that's why. But yep, I thought it was satisfying overall, maybe like a 4 out of 5. But yep, War of the Realms. X-Men Grand Design, we are at the XTinction phase of the retelling from the Watcher's point of view is what this was. But this is kind of like a retelling of the overall X-Men history. So this one gets pretty cool because it actually covers a lot of the 80s X-Men comic that I kind of grew up with and, read, I loved. And this is, all my comic books really started with the X-Men. This was the first team that ever got me to start reading comics, man. It was all about X-Men. It was all about Logan, Wolverine. So yep, I actually read through all this stuff as I was growing up. So it's kind of cool to kind of read through it just one more time. I haven't read some of these storylines in forever. So very nostalgic to kind of read through this one again. Yep, X-Men Grand Design number 2. Conan the Barbarian. Another title that, I did not think that I would be picking up as an ongoing basis, but yep, I've really fallen in love with Conan, or his, I guess when they rebooted him. I don't know if Conan was always like this. Guys, if y'all have been reading Conan for a while, let me know. But, the storylines that they've kind of brought to the table here, very good. There's some of the dialogue's a little bit witty at the same time, which kind of keeps the storyline and dialogue going. A lot of the adult insinuated type of stuff, it kind of kept on the down low, but if you know obviously what's going on, you can figure it out. But yeah, very cool storyline here. He actually hired these 4 or 5 different prostitutes to go on a mission with him, and he doesn't really reveal what his mission is until it, time comes down to it. And I won't give away what's going on here because it's a pretty good storyline here. But pretty cool how Conan kind of always comes out on top, and what he kind of does in order to do so. But yep, Conan the Barbarian, issue number 7. Marvel Comics presents issue number 6. This was one of those hot comics this week, just because. So overall, you have 3 different storylines here. One with Wolverine, second one with Deadpool, third with Ghost Rider. This title overall, the Wolverine storyline, I think definitely carries this title overall. The other 2 stories that they've been kind of interjecting into this title, I really have not been, too enthusiastic about them overall. They're just kind of, just average storylines at best. But the storyline against the Truth and Wolverine, how the Truth kind of comes back every 10 years or so, man, very, very cool. And now at this point in time, Wolverine brought the entire X-Men team, and this is like the 90s team when the X-Men were just like badass, in order to fight the Truth. So I don't want to give away too much. Pretty cool how they kind of turned this here a little bit, 90-degree turn. But man, very cool battle that ensued here. This the Wolverine storyline is what it's all about, in my opinion. So again, as I said, Deadpool was that second storyline. Pretty good humor. If you enjoyed Deadpool, I think they did pretty good, homage to the second storyline here. Third storyline, I'm not really a Ghost Rider fan, and I was not really into the third storyline, to tell you the truth. I felt it was a little bit of a throwaway storyline, but that first storyline with Wolverine, for sure, the best. Marvel Comics presents issue number 6. Star Wars Age of Rebellion, Darth Vader. Love Darth Vader, man. I love pretty much most of the Star Wars titles that are out there. So these are all just little one-shots. We did the prequels already. Now we're into Age of Rebellion. Each one does a little character study, and they're all just one-shots, basically. This one was pretty cool. So you had Vader, who went to like another, just another planet. Of course, this is in between, I think this is right after, was it right after Hoth? I think is when this took place. I think before the Return of the Jedi. But you have Vader kind of going through, his mental psyche as to his current position, how he's subservient to the Emperor, and how and why he has to follow the Emperor's orders. So in this one storyline, the Emperor gives this one governor of this planet or this district that the Empire owns, gives him total control of Vader, and this guy just sends Vader into like the worst situations possible. Of course, Vader always comes out ahead, regardless of what he faces. And pretty cool how Vader, we'll say like finishes off the governor, or the way the storyline ends. It's very suiting for Darth Vader. So yeah, if you are a Darth Vader fan, if you picked up those two volumes that came out from Darth Vader previously, I feel that this was a pretty good study for Darth Vader himself. So yep, Age of Rebellion, Darth Vader #1. Thanos issue #3. I absolutely love this title so far. This is yet another one where I was going to pick up a #1 just to have a #1, but I wasn't really too interested, wasn't very intrigued in regard to the storyline. After reading the first one, I really got there. So this is really all about Gamora. This is when Thanos, it's about Thanos as well, but this is when Thanos originally met Gamora. And this is the story in regard to their relationship. Thanos was over there killing children. He would slaughter the entire planet, including the children. And they showed you a few times where Thanos actually did that. Gamora was different because Lady Death was there, and Gamora saw Lady Death as well. That changed everything for Thanos. That's why he left her alive. But this is how they kind of start forming their relationship. And, even though she becomes evil, so to speak, for a while, it's very, it pulls at the heartstrings for sure. Even though they're straight up evil, it does pull at the heartstrings. Pretty cool relationship buildup. Thanos #3, man, check this one out. If you're a Gamora fan, you have to read this one. Wolverine Exit Wounds. This was one to where I originally was not going to pick up. I kind of flipped through it. It looked okay. In the end, I'm a little bit on the fence. So this one has 3 stories total. I really felt the first storyline, which kind of went over the Weapon X series in a sense, a little bit more insight as far as what the scientists were seeing, what Wolverine was seeing, while he was going through the transformation, so to speak. So if you read through the Weapon X storyline and you like that one, this is a pretty good supplement to that original storyline that came out. Other than that, the second storyline, Aftermath, kind of deals with he was in Japan, this Japanese era, and this last one, which was a fight between Venom and himself in Brazil, I think is where they were. Kind of a throwaway storyline. So overall, I really felt this Wolverine Exit Wounds was complete passable in my opinion. I kind of regret picking it up because I was not going to pick it up at first, but yeah, completely passable from my perspective. If you picked it up and you liked it, let me know why. Picked up a True Believers. So I loved Peter Porker's Spectacular Spider-Ham back in the day. I thought it was hilarious when it first came out. Man, I remember just kind of flipping through and just laughing nonstop. I'm sure that effect doesn't come on now. I kind of read through it, it just wasn't there for me today. But, just very nostalgic. It brings back a lot of positive memories of my childhood. So, yep, picked it up. Moving on to Image, The Weatherman. So this is volume #2. I felt that first volume was pretty good. So the setup overall, you have this main character who is a weatherman. This guy's like kind of like a, he's all about the comedy. He's all about, he seemed like, he's very, very self-absorbed. He's very popular. I think he's in it for the money and the girls, things of that nature. But he come to find out that he was a huge terrorist back in the day. He actually helped kill billions of people on Earth. And they kind of explained, they didn't really explain how that happened in the first volume. They explained it here to where apparently there was I think this was a moon off of Venus, I think is where this was. They were mining, they ran into a virus. The government tried to weaponize the virus, but it was too strong. Apparently that's what the Weatherman got a hold of, and it was released on Earth. And that's how billions of people have died. So now we get into a situation to where he wiped out his memory, and they're trying to figure out why. They have his memory on like a database, like a hard drive, and they're going to try to put it back into him to see what the overall plan was. There had to be some sort of secret plan going on, and that's what this volume 2 is about, to my understanding. So yeah, pretty intriguing for me to pretty intriguing for me to continue on. Redneck issue number 21. So current time type style of vampires living today. However, in this current story arc, they kind of went down to Mexico, and they don't even show you how they got there. They magically went on a journey to get to like this border town. It's just pure like a nightmare type of situation. So although this redneck kind of started like in Texas, like a backwoods type of setting, it went total like fantasy land, just like weird type of storyline at this point in time. But yeah, really love it overall. I love vampires, werewolves, things of that nature. But man, very gruesome storyline, very intriguing. They kind of always adding layers to this vampire storyline. So yep, Redneck issue number 21. Moving on to Aftershock, picked up one, Dark Red, staying on that vampire thread. So yet another current modern take of vampires living amongst us today. Pretty cool. And you did find out in the last issue, it's really the main enemy is this the Nazi vampires here. They go into a little bit more, through exposition here, they go into a little bit more of the vampire folklore and how vampires kind of work like in this world, like in this, multiverse, if you want to call it that. But pretty cool, pretty intriguing. It's, a little bit more traditional style. They have like powers to go into mist, or some of them are able to turn into animals. Things that we kind of have seen like in older movies, things of that nature. But man, a lot of good fighting in here, a lot of good action, pretty quirky dialogue to go along with it. So yep, if you enjoyed that Redneck, I would suggest to try out Dark Red, issue number 4. Got one from Boom Studio, Bone Parish. Love this title overall. I really do enjoy Cullen Bunn as a overall writer in the horror genre. Man, I think he does a great job. So here we're still kind of dealing with you found out in the last issue, the main distributor for Ash, the main drug that allows you to kind of relive the previous person's life that they use the bones to kind of crush into this magical drug. You find out that the main distributor is playing both sides of the fence. He's using the real Ash, and he's also selling the fake generic stuff that actually kills you, or, kind of turns you into your own nightmare, just straight up kills you. So yeah, you have this straight up gang war that's, a little bit risque. You have a straight up gang war that's kind of going on in the background, along with a supernatural type of feel to the storyline. So yeah, pretty cool storyline in my opinion. Bone Parish. Picked up one from IDW, Road of Bones. Another cool, intriguing type of storyline, and with very cool artwork to go along with it. So you have a Russian prison, middle of Siberia. You have a group of inmates who have escaped. At first the warden and his henchmen, so to speak, they let them go, but now they are pursuing a little bit more now at this point in time. So it started out with a supernatural type of, we'll call him like a demon. They showed him in the first one. He really hasn't surfaced here in the second one, other than like little glimpses that you see in the background, but not as prominent as that first issue. But you do see, so to speak, the evil in these men start to come out as they're doing this journey across Siberia to try to escape overall. But yep, pretty cool, very intriguing. Road of Bones, issue number 2. One more from Valiant, Bloodshot, Spirit Rising. So this one covers the origin story of when the government first enacted Bloodshot. They were kind of going through the trial period of how to control him. At this point in time, they completely failed. He is on a straight up killing spree like across America right now. And they're basically trying to stop him with a virus. And, this virus kind of implanted into a USB memory stick is what it kind of looked like. But, man, pretty cool. Good action. If you like Bloodshot, I felt the storyline was pretty decent overall. Probably best read in trade, though, in my opinion. So, guys, that's going to do it for this week's brand new haul. Should you enjoy what you see here, please like and subscribe. And talk to you later.